It's been a phenomenal year of college football selections by Steve Merrill of Wager Talk, and we appreciate Steve being here at the Voice of College Football each and every week to provide his insight and information into the big games across the landscape. And, of course, this weekend we've got 10 conference championship games, 5 in the Power 5, including in the SEC, Steve. And we've got an interesting draw here because we've got LSU, which would be a completely unconventional SEC champion, not making the playoff now that they've got 3 losses. Georgia makes the playoffs without winning the SEC, much like they did last year. Dogs are a 17.5-point favorite in Atlanta against LSU.
Yeah, you kind of did a good job there, Mark, summing up how I feel about these conference championships, because this one is a textbook example of how they're kind of silly at times. With that said, of course, though, it does enable some teams to still play their way in, although, USC probably would be better served not playing as well, because there's only downside for them, right? As the season ended right now, both TCU and USC would be in. So to be honest, there's only downside for TCU and USC. There's really no upside here for either team, Georgia or LSU. We talked about the Michigan-Purdue game on the other channel. There's really no upside for either team there. Clemson, North Carolina. So probably the worst round of conference championship games ever, although TCU and USC could play their way out of the playoffs, I guess. I had a lot of discussion there. But Georgia's the best team in football. I've been big on Michigan all season. I had them at 20-1 back in September. I said they were worth a wager to win the national title. They were kind of the dark horse at the time. Georgia's really never been the dark horse, and I had a best bet on them against Tennessee for my clients a few weeks ago at wagertalk.com. We mentioned that line was 8. My math projection had it in double digits. So Georgia's not a team I'm looking to get in front of. With that said, though, you could make a case this is a little bit of a flat spot because they do know they're locked into the playoffs. And they don't necessarily even have to win. They just have to win the game. They don't have to win by 2.5 touchdowns or more like the spread is. But it is for the conference championship, and you really don't want to be playing against the best team in the country and what should be a focus spot nonetheless. LSU also, you got to worry about their mindset. I know they can win the SEC championship, but like you said, that loss to Texas A&M last week is a 10-point favorite. Bad loss, and we talked about it. That was a dangerous spot. That was A&M's bowl game. Because they're not going bowling. And it's what we've seen happen to both Ohio State and Michigan almost lost, to Maryland and Illinois a couple weeks ago as they got caught looking ahead to the big game. I think that's what happened to LSU last week. The problem is it eliminated them from the national title. Do they rebound now? A lot of uncertainty there. I think I'd rather have the best team in the nation with Georgia laying the points.
May come down to Kirby Smart's master motivational skills to convince his team, because they all experienced it last year. We won the national championship, but we didn't win the SEC. We can just do that again. But if he can sell the SEC as the best conference and this championship means something and you want to go undefeated, then Georgia can certainly roll in this one. 17.5 against LSU, an unlikely number in an SEC title game, especially East over West, based on what history has shown us. Steve Merrill, wagertalk.com. Please get on over there for Steve's selections across the board in all sports. Again, wagertalk.com. And Steve's Under the Radar selection provided for us exclusively on Patreon. A phenomenal 11-1 against the spread. So check out Steve's selections there. Join the Knuckleheads and talk college football all the time on the Discord. Patreon.com. Search Mark Rogers TV. Steve, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.